What's up, YouTubers? Welcome to another episode of the Heated Waves podcast. We are here in the Heated Waves studio, bringing you some sports news always, all the time. Before we jump into what we're getting started, let me introduce my colleague, my good friend, Mr. Bradley.
What is up, everybody? I'm Mr. Bradley. Of course, today we're going to talk about everybody's probably freaking out by now. There's some crazies out there right now, but we're going to talk about the coronavirus and how it has affected not only the world, but sports especially, because this shows how important sports is to the world because of the impact, and we're going to get to that. But stay tuned for that. T-Ball, I know you want to start it off first. You got a bit of information of different stuff that has happened over the last however many years in sports or just in the world in general.
Right, so we're talking about the coronavirus and how it's affecting the sports world, and it turns out there's a lot of teams and places and all kinds of people going all kinds of crazy all over the world. I'm sure as you're watching, there's a fight over toilet paper in Dollar General and Walmart. So I kind of just wanted to relay some information. Basically, coronavirus is basically a respiratory illness. It's kind of like MERS and SARS. The
has
coronavirus,
symptoms.
They're kind of almost the same. They both are. All three of those viruses originated from bats. How the timeline basically goes is 2003 was really the first major exposure to something deadly, which was SARS, and then we had, I believe, the swine flu in 2009, which that actually originated from pigs. A lot of people infected from that worldwide. About 12,400 people in the U.S. affected by that. A lot of deaths from the swine flu. Then in 2012, we had MERS, and then now we have the coronavirus. Like I said, MERS, SARS, coronavirus, basically kind of the same thing, a little different. Originated from bats, swine flu originated from pigs.
All of it's terrible shit.
The thing that's crazy about it is all these people are going nuts and they're shutting down the sports industry. They have officially shut down the NBA. The XFL is done. Everything that you can think of right now. Baseball just started spring training. It's shut down. Everything as far as a sports franchise in the U.S. is shut down.
NCAA tournament, the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, March Madness.
And you got to think one other sport is UFC is the only one that's not yet. That's what's
right.
crazy.
And there's a lot of guys from all over the world.
Right. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, basically, what I wanted to relay was basically from 2003 to the current, we never shut down sports before.
No. And
SARS and MERS actually had a higher death rate than coronavirus ever did. SARS had a death rate of 10%, 50% in people who were 60 or older, and MERS had a death rate of 34%, with 2,500 people infected, 2 in the U.S. Swine flu was really the deadliest one, but SARS and MERS were a lot worse than the coronaviruses as far as what it could do to you and the infection rate, the death rate. Coronavirus is kind of on the bottom tier of those two currently.
Right.
Obviously, we still have a lot of time to progress through that, but it's crazy to think that we've actually shut down these major league sports who generate a lot of money.
And it's going to be trillions, absolutely trillions of dollars right now that sports is going to lose. And not only that, but like we were talking about, UFC hasn't cut nothing out yet. That kind of blows my mind for the fact that, like you said and you stated, there's fighters from all over the world. That's different places, and that's bringing it all over that, from whichever, especially overseas in Europe. And, of course, Trump banned the whole 30 days of flying to Europe or to here, whatever,
Yeah.
So I don't see how in the world they're going to keep the UFC going. I just think this is crazy because...
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything on the UFC, have you?
They've talked about it, but Dana White said as of right now, no, we're not going to shut down UFC 249, I believe is the next one.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing about the UFC, if you think about it this way, I feel like you have a lot more people... because there's players from all over the world that play in all these U.S. sports.
Yeah.
But they're here permanently for the season.
Absolutely.
As compared to these UFC fighters who train in like Russia or China or Europe or wherever the fuck it is they train, and then they fly somewhere to go fight on a card. So there's this whole situation like, what's going to happen if a lot of these countries start shutting down their airports? because of the fact that they have coronavirus spread out, and a lot of these guys can't fight, then they have to make a phone call and be like, hey, I'm not making it tonight. My airport's not letting me fly out.
No, they're canceling flights. It's the saddest part, I believe, for all of this, besides, of course, getting the virus, getting sick from it, and dying, obviously. I'm not putting that down, so people like to forget that stuff. But the second saddest part to all this, to me, is the fact that these NCAA players that don't make any money, right? They've played their whole life, and they're so good. There's so much talent out there in the NCAA basketball. That's what I'm talking about, because they canceled, I can't believe they canceled March Madness. That fucking blows me away.
That's insane.
I get this is a big deal, but, we've had worse ones, like you're talking about, SARS, and fucking, there's been some terrible fucking viruses, diseases, whatever that's been out there that's killed people. We've never shut down
never.
or any of that. So I don't know what the deal is with all that. I don't know if they're doing it for the young kids in college, or just looking out for people in general. Finally, America's finally coming together. Like, oh my God, let's work together. But I think that, like I said, the saddest part is these kids in their senior year in college for the NCAA tournament that doesn't get to play that tournament they worked all year for. Not only that, but that's like a showcase to show your skills to NBA teams, coaches, personnel, whoever it is that comes and looks to draft you, scouts.
Clutch time.
Yeah, this is your time to shine. And not only that, but you're playing for an NCAA championship. And you get a Final Four ring when you make it to the Final Four. Like, you're missing out on all that stuff. And not to mention the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being lost that none of these sports are playing. Like, I'm just sad for these guys because you lost your senior year.
Check this out. You've got to think about it this way: is there's a lot of people in a lot of arenas coming in, and a lot of people traveling in and out. There's a lot of teams. I mean, at one given time, you might have 8 different teams in the building or outside the building.
True.
Along with their fans.
Yeah.
The NCAA usually gets about $1 billion yearly. Their annual revenues roughly in that area.
A lot of money.
As we're mentioning, March Madness has stopped. March Madness alone generates $1 billion. So the NCAA makes around $3.5 billion. They get a little cut of TV ads. There's a bunch of stuff they sweep under the rug, but roughly around $3.5 billion a year. March Madness being that $1 billion by alone, and that's that $1 billion in just ads. That's not including the ticket sales and stuff like that during March Madness, because obviously those ticket sales blow out of the roof, especially if your seed's like a number 1. Everybody's showing up to no matter where they're playing.
If it's a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or Final Four, it depends too on those prices.
And you're right too. It's crazy about these guys who've gone to school for the last 4 years, not only busted their ass to try to get their degree, but
it's their last
playing
chance
on this team that has a chance to not only win but accomplish something and do something for your team. And you're cut short, which also where we have our discussion about, Mr. Bradley, was what happens to these guys whenever they go into the draft. Does this hurt their draft chances?
Oh, it hurts draft stock.
What's the NBA going to do to pay these guys if the NBA shuts down? They're going to lose all this money. And so I think if we're going to look at it in the worst case scenario type of view, I think the guys in college do have it the worst. Especially those guys who have been granted the ability to get paid this year.
True. Yeah,
so they're losing out on not only extra money in their pocket, but getting a chance to highlight their skills and, like you said, get to the NBA and do what they need to do, not only for themselves but for their college as well.
Well, let's think about it this way. Like we discussed before the podcast, how about betting? All that Las Vegas betting.
Right,
sports
gambling. These guys betting on like March Madness and stuff like that.
Not only March Madness, soccer. People bet on everything in sports.
Right.
That is depleted now. What are they going to bet on?
The bookies are going crazy.
Dude, someone's got to get paid. Legs are going to get broke, and people are going to start missing. It's just... I can't even fathom this. Like that, my 33 years. I know I'm not like some 6-year-old man or whatever, but I'm 33 and I've never seen anything shut down every sport like this that scared people so much. And it's like,
well, I've seen games get shut down due to like light failures.
Yeah, not a virus,
hurricanes, thunderstorms, stuff like that.
But not an epidemic. A fucking virus,
worldwide epidemic virus. Yeah,
and they're trying to like quarantine America. Apparently, is what they've been talking about next week. But the thing is, it's just like the betting is going to be crazy. Like, there's just so much more money than what people imagine. And those people don't get paid for all this stuff or can't bet and stuff like that, there's going to be some crazy fuckers out there. And there already are. People are stabbing each other at Walmarts and shit over toilet paper.
Right.
Like, and we're not even talking about betting on, like, I mean, and like I said, and I'm talking about betting on sports. Like, people don't get it. If you put like a 10 grand bet down and you lose or whatever, or you don't pay your bookie or whatever because you're borrowing all this money and there's nothing to bet on, who are they coming after?
Yeah, like
they're coming after those people that owe us money.
Leagues, yeah,
that's not our fault.
The sports leagues, these guys, these sports leagues have shut down. So now
I
can't rely on my money to come in. This guy owes me money and said he was going to cover me with this next bet because he had a sure lock. Now these shit ain't going. I need my money. I got to go collect. Yeah, we're going to start seeing some murders happen.
Right, this, like, I know that probably seems far-fetched at home, maybe a little bit to
hypothetically,
people,
what I'm saying.
But, like, seriously, this could get fucking serious, like, with all this, and if they really keep shutting down and quarantine more, one sport, I'm sad, another thing I'm sad for is the XFL, it just got ruined.
Right, the XFL,
I'm gonna say it right now.
They've already spent $500 million just to start. But they now have no projections of how much they made so far in their league. But yeah, he spent $500 million. It's about $100 million in the first year, and then it said projected to increase after that. But over 3 years, he's already got the money set aside, that $500 million. So these guys are going to get paid regardless. It's just that what happens next year for the XFL.
I'm saying it right now. Like I said,
I think this might have fucked the XFL.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I think that's it. I know people are going to be like, oh, my God, what?
There's a lot of Steelers and guys from the pros that are in that, especially the Steelers.
Ex-pros.
Yeah.
So, but I think this could literally ruin it because he poured, like you just said, he poured all that money into it, and, like, he's not going to get reimbursed. Situation. You don't get reimbursed for that. You don't get to extend the season. Now, they could start the season back up and just, but imagine this. All these sports are shut down, right? They're all in certain schedules at certain times for certain parts of the year so they don't clash. That way they all can make all this money. Because if you got the NFL and NBA on at the same time, people aren't going to watch that. One of those two sports aren't going to get watched and they're going to lose revenue. So they've placed it strategically, all these sports,
right,
where it needs to be, right?
As soon as one's about to end, one's starting.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, it was a long bullshit, whatever. But if they just suddenly started up and started from where they're at now, like, it's going to fuck everything up just sports-wise. Think about that with the coronavirus, like what it's done. Like,
if the coronavirus is affecting that many athletes, well, let's break it down. So, like, I think one of the first athletes that was infected was a guy who played soccer. And then what's really fucking funny is, okay, so as far as the NBA, the second player ever diagnosed with the coronavirus was actually Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
he's been patient zero for the NBA.
Yeah.
Which was what's funny is he was at a press conference and there he was saying it wasn't a big deal. Everybody stopped freaking out and he started touching all the things. And 2 days later, he got diagnosed with coronavirus.
And then he tried to apologize.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like, dude, you can't apologize for that. And you don't fucking play around when something's that serious, like
especially when
you
travel a lot. But
yeah, and not only that, you're in the NBA. You have this face here that you just said all that. They're going to remember that fucking face. They're going to be like, oh, that was the son of a bitch that got the NBA shut down. Death threats. These guys will get death threats. Like, players.
It's going to be tough for them.
It's crazy. Like,
I don't know. He infected Donovan Mitchell, who's also a teammate. The NBA shut down. They said they're shutting down for at least 30 days. At least 30 days. It could be longer than that. Who knows how this pandemic goes. But, the NBA is bringing in about $9 billion a year.
Break
and
down
at this
numbers.
Point, we did the math. With 15 games left, that's a loss of like $1.7 billion. Is that what we came to?
Yeah, my fault.
$1.7 billion in losses that they're possibly facing from not playing these games. Now, some of these guys obviously are going to still get paid from some of their shoe deals
sponsors
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these guys... And it's not so much, no, they're going to collect their money. They may still be able to collect their money. All that money that they've negotiated is already probably set aside, but it's like what happens next year is the problem. If you just lost out on $1.7 billion,
where do you get it?
How do you get that back, and what are you going to do next year when it comes to paying your high draft picks and moving trades around and free agency, and how's all this going to work for all these organizations?
I'll tell you how it's going to happen. They're going to jack up prices, jersey sales, ticket prices, any parking things. They're gonna increase anything they can, which is gonna hurt fans. Think about
seems like
kids.
it's going to be a big deal as far as moving money around and trying to transition this money. I mean, like I said, the NBA is pulling in $9 billion a year. You know, the MLB generates $10 billion a year. Hell, last year they brought in $10.7 billion.
Damn.
MLB is currently on a rise too. The last 2 years,
They've been saying it's boring.
Last year was $10.7 billion. The year before that was 10.3, but they average about 9.9 billion a year, and they're only in the middle of spring training right now.
Yeah.
So those guys, they've already generated, like the NBA, they've generated some of their money that's $1.7 billion. That's a lot more than, or a lot less than this 10.7 that the MLB's about to possibly lose.
Right.
I think it's one of the issues with the coronavirus affecting us right now, but it coming to the long term, what happens in the future once we do get it under control. Is it going to be a slow up and coming back up for these, businesses or these programs or whatever, these other, because you're going to be not only looking at it like this, the NFL, MLB, NBA, all those sports programs,
NHL.
They have charities and stuff like that and other sponsors that have to rely on to fund them also.
Like I said, again, the NCAA gets the biggest hit on this, I think, and I think there should be they're talking about some eligibility thing for these seniors to become eligible, but it's like, some people are going to disagree and be like, well, why should we give these kids a full scholarship, blah, 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 or another year of a scholarship for free because they missed some basketball or blah, blah, blah. Well, it's owed to them. These guys have worked their whole life to get it that good, to get to those good ass colleges, to be able to get their exposure to go to the NBA.
Well, yeah, and some people may not see that as a big deal because what they're going to look at is like, some schools are probably going to switch a lot of their stuff to online classes, so they'll still get their degrees.
No, that's fine.
They don't get to play basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you may walk out of there with a degree, but you're not going to get to walk out of there with a possible championship or get to finish your senior year of basketball.
And think about that, because some of those guys are only there for sports. They're not smart up here. They got people doing their work for them.
They're not
and
there
shit
to get a degree. They're there to play basketball.
Exactly, or football or baseball, whatever it may be.
Now, some of them might not admit that, but there's a lot
absolutely.
of them.
There's some dumbasses, and they got people doing their work for them, stuff like that. They got help underneath with the coaches, whatever. But they take the biggest hit, and then I believe it's the XFL is just going to ruin the XFL. I'm saying it first here. I swear to God, this is not good for the XFL. And if anybody was watching it or liked it, well, now we don't get football all year round because it's going to be so hard. He poured all that money. He's not going to get the money back. And then, of course, obviously the virus is terrible in every aspect for it, no matter who it is. I'm glad they did do this in a way, to do it for the people and the young kids in college and stuff, so people don't spread it and we all fucking die from it or get super sick from it. But at the same time, I'm so sad as a fan because there's so much that this is going to affect. Like, there's so much drama that's going to happen, people pissed and shit like that in the sports world, and then trillions and trillions of dollars that are lost and may ruin the games.
It may be one of those issues where so many people are even, like I said, there's only been like 70 people in the U.S. that have been infected or something like that, but I think these people are getting infected because they're taking it so lightly. You should never take a world epidemic so lightly as far as something, anthrax, SARS, MERS, swine flu, shit like that. And I think that's the karma Rudy Gobert got put upon himself as he was, being stupid and not caring about it. When you get something on the news that says, beware of this, it's all over the world. That's the type of stuff you probably want to listen to. A lot of it's also, false news, the whole thing nowadays. But
true,
you got to think of it like this. If there's a virus out there, they're not going to really lie to you like that. Like, the media is definitely lying about how bad it is. I can tell you that much right now.
Oh, yeah.
It is not as bad as that. It's not as bad to where you need to go to the store and fight people over toilet paper and food and water. Trust me, y'all will be good.
And what the fuck is the whole big deal about toilet paper anyway? We were talking about this earlier. You can wipe your ass with so many items. Why is that the commodity people are fighting over for this whole thing? And why is that the biggest known? Why isn't water, food, fucking different weapons or whatever the fuck you think is about to happen? Like,
well, I think
versus toilet paper.
Toilet paper is going to be a lost art once there's an end of the world type situation.
But this isn't
people are going to be
They're
like
freaking out over nothing.
People are going to be like, "Oh, you got toilet paper?" But I think the thing is, let's just go to this. I don't think you really need to freak out about this as long as you stay clean, you stay advised, stay educated on the coronavirus, and just make sure that if there is an issue, you won't know it because the next thing you know is your house will be surrounded by military personnel and they'll be telling you, you need to get out of your house right now and come with us, and they'll load you up all into trucks. That's when you need to fucking panic.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, you can have all the toilet paper in the world, but when that military comes and knocking on your door, they tell you to get the fuck out of your house. Trust me, you're not going to be ready, so don't sit there and tell me, oh, they ain't going to remove me from my house. Well, when you got a bunch of AR-15s and hundreds of thousands of troops rolling up and down your road,
automatic rifles?
You're going to go with them. I guarantee it.
I don't know. I'm just hurt as a fan.
It sucks, yeah.
And you know what?
I have nothing to watch.
And not only true, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like,
what do I look up online now?
What is
I'm bored. I can't look at my shit.
What is Stephen A. Smith doing right now?
Right.
Well, he ain't got no job.
They're talking about LeBron. That's all they can think of.
Right. Even though he's not even fucking playing. But, like, the kids suffer from this. Think about that. Little kids that go to these games, that love these guys. Now you don't get to watch them now. Like, I would hate to have been a kid and missed all these sports growing up as a kid, because like that's part of your growing up and your background. Like,
yeah, it's that
sports.
too. I mean, you got a lot of kids missing out on these sports programs, and you got kids who are in these programs to keep them off the streets.
Yeah,
there's these programs out there that literally come and pick your kid up from school, take them to this thing, and they play in this basketball program. It helps them
Boys
get
and
into high
Girls
school,
Club,
colleges.
you name it.
That's just getting shut down now too because of.
And so are schools.
And it's like it's not good, but I think it is a little hyped up. There's no need to fight over shit like that. And it's a sad day when I can't find out some information. I mean, I'm a baseball fan. Spring training. We got 162 games. What the fuck? Plus spring training.
Is it going to get cut in half?
It just started, and you got it stopped already. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Well, to go to that point, you're a baseball guy, and obviously I love football, the Green Bay Packers, but my second best is obviously watching the NBA. I'm a basketball guy. I love basketball my whole life. Now I can't watch my Milwaukee Bucks, who have been balling this year, in first place, having a chance to go to the NBA, because we don't know if it's only going to be like a 30, 60-day, 90-day, or, the end of the season's just done because of, like I said, all the conflicting schedules. If they just started it all back up all of a sudden, it would fuck up everything. So what if they just wiped out the NBA? Like, I'm pissed off. Like, what if you're balling, right? What if you're let's break it down like this just real quick. What if you're one of these balling-ass athletes, whether it's NCAA or any major sport that's shut down right now? You're fucking balling. You're having the best season of your career. You could break every record there is. You could get this big payday because this is your last, your contract year. Thinking about it like that. What if it was your contract year as well, and they just shut it down and you get to play the rest of it?
I'd be pissed.
Like, exactly. What the fuck would happen? Like, what are they going to do for you? Like, they can't accommodate that. You just hurt my trade value. You hurt my free agency value. You hurt my value as a fucking player in general.
They're going to say, well, we gave you a degree. Basketball isn't
I'm saying
life.
if this was a pro guy, or if you're a hockey or even golf right now, they're shutting down the Masters. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Just,
well, here, let's break this down.
It's sad. So, you're fucked.
Let's do it like this. So, like I said, the NBA is roughly $9 billion a year. Baseball's $10 billion a year.
That's 19.
MLS, if you're just counting in the U.S., is only worth about 350. But obviously, soccer's played all over the world,
right.
And the FIFA organization is roughly $4.6 billion, and the World Cup alone, which last time was in Moscow, generated $6.1 billion.
So we're sitting at $30 billion.
PGA gets $1 to $2 billion, but the PGA works differently because the PGA takes fees and charitable donations and
Rich
sponsors
people.
And stuff like that to gain the money to pay the players to pay in the tournaments. But there's players have their own individual sponsors, and they rely on those sponsors and we'll make sure you stay afloat. And obviously, if you're good enough to win, the rest is going to be history. So the PGA is a little different as far as them winning or losing money. It's mainly affects directly to the players, not so much the organization, because they're still going to get funding no matter what, because a lot of rich people got their hand in the PGA.
It's an old man sport.
And then, like we said, the NCAA is about $1 billion a year, and then add another $1 billion in ads, and that's not including the ticket sales and merch. And the XFL spent the $500 million, so
you're looking at about $36 billion.
$36 billion.
Just in revenue, not betting. If we had betting numbers, it would blow our mind.
Add on the betting, you're talking about hundreds of billions.
Trillions.
Probably
bro.
trillions. It's high billions, probably close to $1 trillion.
It's going to, man. I'm telling you, like, this money is in America's all about money, baby. Everything you do in life's about money.
I just think you're gonna have a lot of upset people next year.
It's so much chaos. Like, this is chaos not only for our country and the whole world with everything, with all of it, but the sports world and the betting world in general is just flabbergasted. I mean, fuck, the goddamn stock market's fucked. Like,
This was all just a ploy to make sure LeBron gets his rest and
to get that championship
they win
run.
the finals. So don't worry, people. The coronavirus is fake. Hit it, because there's a lot of people who are of Latino descent in the Los Angeles area. So as a joke, they named it coronavirus. That way LeBron could get some rest.
Yeah, and Tom Brady.
I'm just joking. That was just a joke, so don't take that serious. But yeah, it's a shitty situation. I mean, I've never seen epidemic shut down something of this magnitude that generates so much money for the U.S. population.
Yeah, especially like the new build stadium in Las Vegas for the Raiders.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Shut down. Now it's pointless.
Yeah.
Just collecting fucking dust.
Yep. There goes that fucking stadium and all those hopes for that.
That's a weird situation.
And it's ruined sports right now, and it's crazy, but that's how it is in life, I guess. Like, we're gonna have to figure it out. We're gonna have to come together as a whole and everybody work together. Fucking wash your hands, people. Jesus Christ, it takes 10 seconds to wash your hands. But that's all I got on it. It's just sad because I'm missing my sports, and I'm sad for people, and I'm sad for kids that have this virus and don't get to go to all these things we're talking about, to go to their camps or anything, or just watch TV, watch their favorite player on TV, and it inspired us to be sports guys. So it kind of ruins lives and stuff. So that's all I got, Mr. T-Ball over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we got. Coronavirus is, I'm not saying anything to, not
serious.
Take lightly. It's serious, but we need to, everybody stay calm out there, and I would say stay calm and watch some sports, but you can't fucking do that. So
no, you can't watch and do anything.
Just stay prepared. We probably haven't seen the worst of it yet. It's probably to come. But
there you go.
I think once, if everybody stays relaxed and stays safe, that things will get better
and work together.
Hopefully we can get some of these sports back up for you hardcore sports watchers. I know we need to get it up there, but yeah, that's all I got, Mr. Bradley. Just enlighten some of you guys. This is the Heated Waves podcast. We appreciate you guys keeping it locked here. Thanks for subscribing and likes. Mr. Bradley, want to take us out?
Yes, sir. I'm Mr. Bradley, if you don't know that by now, and if you're just now tuning in. But don't forget to subscribe. Obviously, hit that button down below, the notification, if you would like to hear and know anytime we post any videos or just talk shit on your favorite player or whatever. And you can comment, like, and share, and hit up our Facebook page at Heated Waves with a Z, and in the search bar on Facebook. And obviously, we're on Twitter and Instagram. The links are all down below. Thank you guys so much. Heated Waves Podcast. I'm Mr. Bradley. That's my boy, my colleague, T-Ball. Peace out.
Deuces, guys.
Heated Waves.